Hello, Cooper Clever 1972 back with another video. So I'm tackling now the Criterions in the bookcase, and after that we'll handle the ones in the towers. So it's gonna. I'm not sure if it'll be probably gonna. I think it's gonna be more than two videos. Maybe 3, 4, something like that. I'm not quite sure on that. But we'll see how things go, and we'll eventually get to the end of these, and then eventually we'll get to the end of everything else as well. But anyways, so the first criterion I want to show you is The Man Who Fell to Earth. I bought this used. It has a book that goes with it. It's a science fiction film. David Bowie was in it. I think this was David Bowie's first movie that he was in. Let me read this. The Man Who Fell to Earth is a daring exploration of science fiction as an art form. The story of an alien on an elaborate rescue mission provides a launching pad for Nicholas Roeg's visual tour de force, a formerly adventurous examination of alienation in contemporary life. Rock legend David Bowie, in his acting debut, completely embodies the title role, while Candy Clark, Buck Henry, and Rip Torn turn in pitch-perfect supporting performances. The film's hallucinatory vision was obscured in the American theatrical release, which deleted nearly 20 minutes of crucial scenes and details. The Criterion Collection is proud to present Roeg's full uncut version in this exclusive, new director-approved, high-definition widescreen transfer. So, the transfer is supervised by director Nicholas Roeg, audio commentary figured by Roeg and actors David Bowie and Buck Henry. It's got new video interview with screenwriter Paul Meyersberg on the second disc, performance, new video interviews with actors Candy Clark and Rip Torn, audio interviews with costume designer May Ruth and production designer Brian Eatwell, audio interview from 1984 with author Walter Tevis, conducted by Don Swaim. He's the guy that wrote the book. Multiple stills galleries, including Ruth's costume sketches, behind-the-scenes photos, and production and publicity stills introduced by set photographer David James. Gallery of posters from Roeg's films, trailers, plus Walter Tevis's original novel, reprinted specially for this release, in a 28-page booklet featuring a new essay on the film by critic Graham Fuller and an appreciation of Tevis by novelist Jack Matthews. So, I did see this film first on public television. I just watched just a tiny bit of it when it was on television. Didn't really pay attention. That's the book, so that's just a text there. Then here's the case for the disc itself. I think David Bowie wore contacts when he was in this film. Maybe he's a Martian. I'm not quite sure on that. So, and when I got this on DVD, I did watch the starting of it. I didn't continue, not because I didn't want to. I don't know. Sometimes I do that where I will just glance at a film because I want to look at it, but I just don't finish it. I do that with some books too. Just a few books I've done that with. And I bought this off of Amazon used, but when I received it, it looked like it still looks like it still smells fresh and new. It really feels like it's been kept in good condition. I don't think it was that cheap. I think it was like $50, $60 when I bought it. So that's The Man Who Fell to Earth. Oh, and let me show you the discs, of course. Here's the first disc. This is the time period in Criterion's history where they have these kinds of discs separated, whereas the newer ones, they have them on top of each other. So, and this one, I think I did show it, but I'll just I don't know. I don't know if I told what it was about, what it was about or not. I'm gonna read it. It's Alfred Hitchcock's foreign correspondent. In 1940, Alfred Hitchcock made his official transition from the British film industry to Hollywood, and it was quite a year. His first two American movies, Rebecca and Foreign Correspondent, were both nominated for Best Picture Oscar. Though Rebecca prevailed, Foreign Correspondent is the more quintessential Hitch film, a full-throttle espionage thriller starring Joel McCrea as a green Yank reporter sent to Europe to get the scoop on the imminent war. Its wall-to-wall witty repartee, head-spinning plot twists, brilliantly mounted suspense set pieces, and astonishing special effects. Foreign Correspondent deserves to be mentioned alongside the 39 Steps and North by Northwest as one of the master's greatest adventures. It's got a new piece on the film's special effects by visual effects expert Craig Barron, who works, I don't know if he still does, but he worked for ILM, Lucas's special effects company that was created from Star Wars. Hollywood Propaganda in World War II, a new interview with writer Mark Harris, who I've seen at the Jacob Burns Film Center. Basically, I've seen him there talking about Oscar nominees. He's there he does it every year with Janet Maslin. I haven't been there the last few years it happened, but I've been there before and seen it happen. And he also wrote a book called Pictures of a Revolution, which was about the 1967 Oscar Best Picture race. I didn't technically read it. I listened to the audio book, so I listened to it in the car. So, where were we? Oh, an interview with director Alfred Hitchcock from a 1972 episode of The Dick Cavett Show, radio adaptation of the film from 1946, starring Joseph Cotten. Have You Heard the Story of Wartime Rumors, a 1942 Life magazine photo drama by Hitchcock, trailer, and an essay by film scholar James Nairmore, who I believe wrote a book on Orson Welles, which I have read, I believe. So, various places. There. And the windmills, I guess, I haven't watched this movie, but I think the windmills are crucial to, it's just a pamphlet. The windmills are crucial to the understanding in the movie, I believe. I don't know if they're an important part of the movie, so that's what I think. I think that's the case. I don't know because I haven't watched it yet, but seems to be. This one I wasn't too wild about. I think I've watched all the special features. The Uninvited with Ray Milland. A pair of siblings from London, Ray Milland and Ruth Hussey, purchase a surprisingly affordable lonely cliff-top house in Cornwall, only to discover that it actually carries a ghostly price. And soon they're caught up in a bizarre romantic triangle from beyond the grave. Rich in atmosphere, The Uninvited, directed by Lewis Allen, was groundbreaking for the seriousness with which it treated the haunted house genre, and remains an elegant and eerie experience, featuring a classic score by Victor Young, a tragic family past, a mysteriously locked room, cold chills, lumps in the night. This gothic Hollywood classic has it all. It's got a new visual essay by filmmaker Michael Almereyda, 2 radio adaptations from 1944 and 1949, both starring Ray Milland in a trailer, and a booklet featuring an essay by critic Ferran Smith Nalum, and a 1997 interview with director Lewis Allen. So, and I just found this film to be kind of dull and not really that scary at all. Kind of boring, I guess you could say. Just kind of, I don't know. Didn't work for me. I don't know. I mean, you know, like with some films, you give them a chance, and then sometimes you get more into it. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna. I just didn't think it was that scary, or it doesn't really have to be scary per se, but it just didn't work for me. It just wasn't a captivating movie because it was just, you know, a film can have atmosphere, but, you know, not hit you over the head. But the atmosphere didn't seem to have much punch to it. It just kind of seemed hollow, if you will. I guess is how I'd put it. So next up, I think these are the last of the Powell and Pressburger movies. One of them is directed just by one of them, I believe, and this other one is directed by both of them, or I think both. I think they're like the Coen brothers in that sense. Yeah, this is a film by Michael Powell and Emmerich Pressburger. It's Black Narcissus. And the special effects are supposed to be very advanced for its time, and this is before 2001 really broke boundaries. And that's a great shot right there because it's a matte painting, and the nuns' convent is in the Himalayas, and the special effects are incredible. This explosive film about the conflict between the spirit and the flesh is the epitome of the sensuous style of Michael Powell and Emmerich Pressburger. A group of nuns, played by some of Britain's finest actresses, including Deborah Kerr, Kathleen Byron, and Flora Robson, struggle to establish a convent in the Himalayas while isolation, extreme weather, altitude, and culture clashes all conspire to drive the well-intentioned missionaries mad. A darkly grand film that won Oscars for Alfred Young's art direction and Jack Cardiff's cinematography. Great cinematographer, Jack Cardiff. Black Narcissus is one of the greatest achievements by two of cinema's true visionaries. And the digital transfer is created with the participation of cinematographer Jack Cardiff and director Michael Powell's widow, editor Thelma Schoonmaker Powell, who, you know, helps Scorsese. She's an editor. She's edited a lot of Scorsese's movies. Video introduction by filmmaker Bertrand Tavernier. Audio commentary featuring Powell and director Martin Scorsese, like that other film I was showing, Peeping Tom, I think, that I showed in, I think, the previous video. Martin Scorsese is mentioned alongside that. Oh no, it's not that one. It's not Peeping Tom. It's The Life and Death of Colonel Blimp, which is one of the previous video, the video before that. The Audacious Adventurer, a video piece in which Tavernier discusses the film and Powell. Profile Black Narcissus, a documentary featuring members of the Archers production team. Painting with Light, a documentary on Cardiff's Oscar-winning work in Black Narcissus, original theatrical trailer, and a booklet featuring an essay by critic Kent Jones. So, also, now that we're discussing Powell and Pressburger, and that's a beautiful picture right there, jaw-dropping, captivating, beautiful. Anyways, talking about Powell and Pressburger, they made a movie called, it goes by two different titles, Stairway to Heaven, and then it goes another title, but one of the titles is Stairway to Heaven. I'd love to see that because I've seen some pictures from it. It's about the death of like a Royal Air Force pilot and his journey into the afterlife. Maybe I just seen pictures of it. I'd like to see it. I'm not a person that's really religious. I'm basically an atheist, but that doesn't stop me from wanting to see it. It looks like a interesting movie to watch. So, but I think I like this film a lot. Maybe one of the nuns sort of gets a sexual passion for the male lead in this film. I can't remember, but it had some really beautiful scenery in this film. And it was shot all in England, I believe. And yeah, they did a great job making it look like it was the Himalayas. Next one, I think this is the last of the Powell and the Pressburger movies. It's not technically both of them, it's just one of them. Let's see, who is this? Well, it's produced by Alexander Korda. Well, it's produced by Alexander Korda, and I think Powell and Pressburger are involved with this. Anyways, it's A Thief of Baghdad. I watched a little bit of this, and again, it's just one of those films I never finished, but I want to watch it, finish it off, and look at the special features and everything. But this film's I think it has a big influence on filmmakers, and came out in 1940, and really, I don't know, maybe some of the special effects don't hold up to today's standards, but they look sort of impressive even for that time period. So, legendary producer Alexander Korda's marvel, The Thief of Baghdad, inspired by the Arabian Nights, is one of the most spectacular fantasy films ever made, pioneering in its eye-popping technical wizardry. When Prince Ahmed, John Justin, is blinded and cast out of Baghdad by the nefarious Jafar, Conrad Veidt, he joins forces with the scrappy thief Abu, the incomparable Sabu, to win back his royal place as well as the heart of a beautiful princess, June du Prez. With its luscious technicolor, vivid sets, and unprecedented visual wonders, The Thief of Baghdad has charmed viewers of all ages for decades. So disc one has the film. It's got two audio commentaries, one featuring renowned directors Francis Ford Coppola and Martin Scorsese, and one with film and music historian Bruce Ader. It's got the theatrical trailer. It's got optional music and effects track. Disc 2 has the supplements, visual effects, documentary about the technical achievements of The Thief of Baghdad, featuring interviews with special effects masters Ray Harryhausen, Dennis Muren, and Craig Barron. When I was a teenager, I went to a science fiction convention. Actually, it was my first one, and I met a few celebrities there. One of them was Ray Harryhausen. I saw like the Kraken from Clash of the Titans, and Medusa from Clash of the Titans, and I think I think these skeletons from Jason and the Argonauts. And incidentally, I know that this might sound like I'm boasting or whatever, but I met Isaac Asimov there, and it's kind of interesting going to those conventions. But I haven't gone to one of those in a long time. I have gone to one the last few years, last year and the 2 years before that, a horror convention, not a science convention, but like that, but just horror instead of science fiction. But anyways, I'll get back to this. And Dennis Muren and Craig Barron, of course, worked for ILM, and Dennis Muren's one of the true special effects mavens. In fact, one of the Criterions I'm going to show at a certain point, he was very involved with. You'll see what I mean when I show up. But anyways, he was involved with films like Close Encounters, Dennis Muren. So, The Lion Has Wings, 1940. Producer Alexander Korda's propaganda film for the English war effort, created when The Thief of Baghdad went into production hiatus. Excerpts from co-directors Michael Powell's audio dictations for his autobiography. Excerpt from a 1976 radio interview with composer Miklos Raza. Stills gallery featuring rare images of the film's production and photos shot in Color. And a booklet featuring new essays by film scholars Andrew Moore and Ian Christie. So it was co-directed by Michael Powell, so that's the connection. I don't think there's a picture behind the disc. I'm not sure. Let me see. No, there's no picture. But I'll show you the discs. They're just different colors. They have the same design on them. And then here's the booklet. I think the story is sort of similar to the Disney movie Aladdin. You know, sort of along the same lines. But this looks pretty interesting. I don't know if I saw this as a kid. I'm not sure. But when I was young, before there were VCRs were prevalent in people's houses, my father would take me and my brother to the Cleveland Art Museum in the early 80s or late 70s, and the museum was free in those days, and the movies were free as well. They had a movie theater, but they showed older movies. Like maybe one of the newest they would show would be in 1982. They showed Star Trek: The Motion Picture when Wrath of Khan was out in the theaters. They showed 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea with James Mason. They showed Oliver, the Carol Reed movie, the musical about Oliver Twist. They showed some other movies too. They showed a little foreign. They showed a Japanese film when they had a Japanese exhibit there. But those were the days, when you didn't have VCRs even. And that's, probably why I read a lot during that time period, because, he kept you kept you busy, kept you involved with something instead of just twiddling your thumbs all day, So I think we can do some more Criterions before I do another video of more Criterions, but I think you can fit some more in here. We'll see how it goes. So the next one up, Brief History of Time. This is a documentary about Stephen Hawking. Errol Morris turns his camera on one of the most fascinating men in the world, the pioneering astrophysicist Stephen Hawking, afflicted by a debilitating motor neuron disease that has left him without a voice on the use of his limbs. an adroitly crafted tale of personal adversity, professional triumph, and cosmological inquiry. Morris's documentary examines the way the collapse of Hawking's body has been accompanied by the untrammeled broadening of his imagination. Telling the man's incredible story through the voices of his colleagues and loved ones, while making dynamically accessible some of the theories in Hawking's best-selling book of the same name. A Brief History of Time is at once as small as a single life and as big as the ever-expanding universe. And the transfer is supervised by Director of Photography John Bailey and approved by Director Errol Morris. A new interview with Morris, new interview with Bailey. Booklet featuring essay by critic David Starrett, a chapter from Stephen Hawking's 2013 memoir, My Brief History, and an excerpt from Hawking's 1988 book, A Brief History of Time. So, one of the areas I don't really know a lot about is science. So, like I watched Cosmos recently with Carl Sagan. But, you know, I'm not really an expert on science, but I do believe it holds weight because it can be proven. And, you know, the thing they say about science is that until you have to be kind of objective, even you have to be so objective that you might be willing to change your position on something because, like, for example, Einstein, one of his theories might have been wrong. I guess that's what they say. But so it's sort of an evolutionary process. Like, so they come up with a scientific theory that proves certain things wrong. But if they find something that proves that wrong, they have to. They must really stick to the most objective view possible in order to make a correct statement. So, or the most correct statement they can make at the time. So I don't know a lot about things like astrophysics and various things. I don't know if some of it does go over my head, but I do find some of it pretty fascinating. And he talks about things like black holes in here. I have watched this. I don't know if I watched the special features on this. I think I did. But anyways, Brief History of Time. That's a documentary, and this next one's a documentary too. This has been praised a lot, I believe. The Spirit of the Beehive. Criterion is proud to present Victor Erice's spellbinding The Spirit of the Beehive, widely regarded as the greatest Spanish film of the 1970s. In a small Castilian village in 1940, in the wake of the country's devastating civil war, 6-year-old Anna attends a traveling movie show of Frankenstein and becomes possessed by the memory of it. Produced as Franco's long regime was nearing its end, The Spirit of the Beehive is a bewitching portrait of a child's haunted inner life in one of the most visually arresting movies ever made. It's got Footprints of a Spirit, documentary featuring director Victor Erice, producer Elias Querejeta, co-screenwriter Angel Fernandez Santos, and actor Ana Torrent. New interviews with scholar Linda C. Ehrlich and actor Fernando Fernan Gomez. Victor Erice in Madrid, an interview by filmmaker Hideyuki Miyaoka. New essay by film scholar Paul Julian Smith. So, just another one of these movies I have not got around to seeing. Not because I don't want to, but because I just haven't got around to it, and I got so much on my plate. course, after these Criterions, I'm probably going to just not really talk a lot about, I'll talk about the movies I show after the Criterions, but I might not spend as much time as I do on the Criterions compared to regular movies that are not Criterions. These next two are by Costa-Gavras. This one's called State of Siege. He's the guy that directed Z. Costa-Gavras puts the United States' involvement in Latin American politics under the microscope in this arresting thriller. An urban guerrilla group, outraged at the counterinsurgency and torture training clandestinely organized by the CIA in their country, unnamed in the film, abducts a U.S. official, Yves Montand, to bargain for the release of political prisoners. Soon the kidnapping becomes this media sensation, leading to violence. Co-written by Franco Salinas, the electrifying State of Siege piercingly critiques the American government for supporting foreign dictatorships, while also asking difficult questions about the efficacy of radical violent acts to oppose such regimes. And the restoration is supervised by director Costa-Gavras. New conversation between Costa-Gavras and film scholar Peter Cowie. NBC News excerpts from 1970 on the kidnapping of Dan A. Mitrion, on which the film is based, and an essay by journalist Mark Danner. That reminds me of another Criterion, which is Che by Steven Soderbergh. And I don't know tons about the Nixon administration or Kissinger or any of those things, but I know that the U.S. government trained certain groups of different countries into becoming dictatorships, but they also train these people to overthrow Che Guevara, even though I think Che Guevara in Bolivia wasn't much of a threat compared to Cuba. I don't know. I mean, when you hear about Che Guevara, you get, some people view him as a hero, and other people view him as not the greatest guy in the world. So mixed reviews of Che Guevara, but I like the film a lot. By what's his name? Steven Soderbergh. Yeah. Second one by Costa-Gavras is The Confession. The master of the political thriller, Costa-Gavras became an instant phenomenon after the mammoth success of Z, and he quickly followed it with the equally riveting The Confession. Based on a harrowing true story from the era of Soviet bloc show trials, the film stars Yves Montand as a Czechoslovak Communist Party official who in the early 50s is abducted, imprisoned, and interrogated over a frighteningly long period and left in the dark about his captor's motives. Also starring Simone Signoret and Gabriele Ferzetti, the film is an unflinching, intimate depiction of one of the 20th century's darkest chapters, told from one bewildered man's point of view. So again, you got Gabriele Ferzetti, who was in On Her Majesty's Secret Service as Draco. He was in Once Upon a Time in the West by Sergio Leone. He was in La Ventura for Michelangelo Antonioni. Simone Signoret was in The Army of Shadows by what's his name? Jean-Pierre Melville. So restoration supervised by director Costa-Gavras. You Speak of Prague, the second trial of Artur, London, a 1970 on-set documentary by set photographer Chris Marker, featuring Costa-Gavras, source book co-author Arthur London, actors Yves Montand and Simone Signoret, and screenwriter Jorge Samprun. Portrait London, in 1981 French program featuring Artur and Lise London discussing their experiences as political prisoners. Interview with Montand from 1970. New interview with editor Francois Bonnat, 1 hour conversation between Costa-Gavras and the film scholar Peter von Bach from 1998, new interview with John Michalczyk, author of Costa-Gavras, the political fiction film, New English, and an essay by scholar Dina Yordonova. So I'm butchering all those foreign names, I know. Certain ones seem kind of unpronounceable because they have a bunch of consonants joined together. It's kind of hard to decipher how to say the name. But there's a picture in there. And then you got these. I think this is blue. These are Blu-rays. Yeah. This is always this is not easy to figure out how to do. There you go. And this disc here. So it's just two. So sorry that I hold you up like this. I'm trying to figure out which goes where, so it's kind of confusing. So, and I don't think I showed this. So we have this. Wait a minute, this way. The eye and a star and a noose. Then we have this. So I know that Criterion has made some pamphlets in some of their newer editions, but I think they're sort of listening to people because I do see some booklets from time to time, I think. I don't think they've abandoned the booklet form entirely. My friend watched this, and it's supposed to be a really experimental movie. I'll watch it at some point. I don't know when, but I'm looking forward to it. I just don't know when I'll watch it. Brand Upon the Brain. In the weird and wonderful super cinematic world of Canadian cult filmmaker Guy Maddin, personal memory collides with movie lore for a radical sensory overload. This eerie excursion into the gothic recesses of Maddin's mad, imaginary childhood is a silent, black-and-white comic science fiction nightmare set in a lighthouse on grim Black Notch Island, where fictional protagonist Guy Maddin was raised by an iron-fisted puritanical mother. Originally mounted as a theatrical event, accompanied by live orchestra, Foley artists, and assorted narrators, Brand Upon the Brain is an irreverent, delirious trip into the mind of one of current cinema's true eccentrics. Narration tracks by Isabella Rossellini, Laurie Anderson, who I think did Life as a Dog, which is a new Criterion that came out recently. I saw it at the Burns, talking about the film. John, Life as a Dog is what I'm talking about. John Ashbery, Crispin Glover, Guy Maddin, Louis Nagin, and Eli Wallach. 97% True, a new documentary featuring interviews with the director and his collaborators. 2 new short films directed by Maddin exclusively for this release. It's My Brother's Birthday Today and Footsteps. The Eluded Scene trailer and a new essay by film critic Dennis Lim. So I guess this goes in the film, the other film Criterion I own, the Stan Brakhage box set, which is, well, that might be even more abstract than this probably, but it's one of those films that are sort of off the beaten path, narratively speaking. I don't know. Maybe this is a more narrative driven movie that I'm thinking. Don't know quite yet, as I've not watched it, but at some point I'll watch it and see what it looks like. So, anyways, that's Brand Upon the Brain. Next up, I think I showed this. I don't know if I should say anything about this because I think I talked about this. I'm going to hold this to the side, and I'll look at my Bergman video and see if I talked about this. It's Cries and Whispers, but I think I talked about this, so I don't want to reiterate what I said before because that just would be time wasting, and I think I talked about this, so that's that for that. I'll check though and see if I talked about it. This one is one I picked up recently, Phantom Carriage. I think I talked about this as well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I talked about, this film. I think I read the summary of the movie and the special features as well. So I'm going to skip this too. But it's The Phantom Carriage, and it's a movie that had a huge influence on Ingmar Bergman. So this video, this would be in the video called New Criterions I purchased. I got that wrong in a previous video where I said that I released it probably in November, December or something. What I actually did was I bought some Criterions during the Barnes & Noble sale, and then I bought this one when I got, every time I spend up to $2,500 on my Barnes & Noble credit card, I get a $25 gift certificate to Barnes & Noble's website or store. So I bought this at one of their stores. And then there's another Criterion I'll be showing, not in this video, but that I got around the same time, the end of last year. And I got that through Amazon. It was an Amazon gift certificate, I think, is how I spent that. Yeah, it was an Amazon gift certificate. And I think I showed that. I think I got into detail about that. I'll check that too, but we're not there to that one yet anyways. As to, that's also concentrated in a certain pile, and it's in a certain area with other movies of mine. So that's one of the Tower videos is the other one. Well, we'll get to that. Next up is a film by Peter Davis. It's a documentary. It's called Hearts and Minds. It's about Vietnam. Might be the Shoah of the Vietnamese movies. I don't know. Startling and courageous film, Peter Davis's landmark 1974 documentary, Hearts and Minds, unflinchingly confronted the United States' involvement in Vietnam at the height of the controversy that surrounded it, using a wealth of sources, from interviews to newsreels to footage of the conflict and the upheaval occasioned on the home front. Davis constructs a powerfully affecting picture of the disastrous effects of war, explosive, persuasive, and wrenching. Hearts and Minds is an overwhelming emotional experience and the most important nonfiction film ever made about this devastating period in history. So this is a dual format. Restoration supervised by director Peter Davis and cinematographer Richard Pierce. Audio commentary featuring Davis. A collection of over 2 hours of Davis's unused footage, including excerpts from interviews with presidential advisor George Ball, broadcast journalist David Brinkley, French journalist and historian Philip de Villers, and political activist Tony Russo. Additional excerpts from General William Westmoreland's interview, additional audio excerpts from presidential advisor Walt Rostow's interview, and scenes from a funeral and a military hospital, in South Vietnam, and a booklet featuring essays by Davis, film critic Judith Crist, and historians Robert K. Brigham, George C. Herring, and Ngo Vien Long. So I think I watched this film once, maybe. It's interesting. It's one of the guys that was dropping bombs from a plane in Vietnam. When he gets back, he has a totally different perspective of the war. He becomes kind of like a pacifist. He just doesn't. I think he feels a lot of guilt for what he did, dropping bombs. And there's also footage of, I believe, of the destroying of a Vietnamese village and how that affects the. Here's the guy that dropped the bombs right there, and this is, I think, the village where it got destroyed, houses and things. More there. And then Westmoreland, the general, whatever he is, because I don't know tons about Vietnamese history, the Vietnam War history, but I guess he's kind of unapologetic person towards the context of Vietnam, the war. I think the documentary, unlike documentaries of today, I guess some documentaries today, is trying to show both sides of the coin, trying to be as objective as you can be, and it also shows at the start a vet coming back from Vietnam, and he was like gung ho when he went over, and he's kind of disillusioned when he comes back. But I haven't watched this. I think I watched the whole thing, and I don't think I watched all the special features like the rest of the interviews that were cut out of the movie. I think I watched a little bit of that. But at some point I gotta look at this again, I suppose. And I don't remember everything that happened in this movie, but it's an important movie. I actually see one film that I have left, but it also there's another film with it by the same director, so I'll be right back. So hang on. Okay, back. So I have two more films in this video. Georges Franju's Eyes Without a Face. It's a horror film. Secluded in the French countryside, a brilliant, obsessive doctor attempts a radical surgery that could restore the beauty of his daughter's disfigured face, but at a horrifying price. At once ghastly and lyrical, Eyes Without a Face is a true rarity for horror cinema and has influenced countless other films. The Criterion Collection is proud to present Georges Franju's classic in a long-awaited, fully restored DVD edition. Blood of the Beast, La Sang de Bête, Georges Franju's 1949 short documentary about the slaughterhouses of Paris. Archival interviews with Franju on horror, cinema and the making of Blood of the Beast. Excerpts from Le Grand Pere du Crime, a documentary featuring Eyes Without a Face writers Pierre Belot and Thomas Narcissic, Diabolique, Vertigo. Theatrical trailers, stills gallery of rare production photos and promotional material, and new essays by novelist Patrick McGrath and writer and film historian David Collette. So I think I have seen clips from this movie, and it looks interesting. So just a pamphlet. So sort of reminds me, even though I haven't seen this movie, of Face of Another by Hiroshi Teshigahara. And what I'm thinking about also reminds me of maybe more than two episodes of The Twilight Zone, the Beauty and the Eye Beholder, and what's the other one? The one where the family is, this family wants, I think, the grandmother's wealth. They want the money that she has, and she forces them to wear masks. I don't know if that makes sense, if that adds into it, but that's just what I was thinking of when I was just looking at this, looking at the inside pamphlet. And I've shown this on a haul, of like a Barnes & Noble sale of what I got. I'll read this because I don't think I've read this. This effortlessly cool crime caper, directed by Georges Franju, is a marvel of dexterous plotting and visual invention. Conceived as an homage to Louis Soulard's 1916 cult silent serial of the same name, Jude X kicks off with a mysterious kidnapping of a corrupt banker by a shadowy crime fighter, American magician Channing Pollock, and spins out into a thrillingly complex web of deceptions. Combining stylish 60s modernism with silent cinema touches and even a few unexpected sci-fi accents, Jude X is a delightful bit of pulp fiction and a testament to the art of illusion. Interview from 2007 with co-writer Jacques Champrot. Interview from 2012 with actor Francine Berge. Franju Le Visionnaire, a 50-minute program from 1998 on director Georges Franju's career. 2 short films by Franju, Hotel des Invalides, 1951, about the Paris military complex, and La Grande Millet, about director Georges Millet. And a booklet featuring essay by critic Jeffrey O'Brien, along with a selection of commentary by Franju. So, and I think maybe I'm wrong on this. There's no pictures. It's just a disc with writing on them. Maybe Criterion has the silent version of which this film is based on. Not sure on that. If you know, just make a comment below. Looks like there's a lot of text here. Well, here we have a picture. Another picture. Not too many pictures. So that does it for the Criterion DVDs and Blu-rays in the bookcases. And next up will be the Criterions that are in the towers. I don't know if I'll record another video tonight or not, because this video, I started it again, when I got the 2 Georges Franju films, and so far it says 5 minutes and 40 seconds, 42 seconds, 43, and before that it was like, before I recorded this portion of the video, I believe it's something like 40 minutes maybe. So I think I filled up a lot of the hard drive of the computer to record this video. And if I record another video, it's going to be a long video as well. And I'll fill the hard drive so full up that it will function, but this computer might get slower. So what I do usually is I record these videos and I dump them onto YouTube, and then I delete them off the hard drive. But I think I might have to load this onto YouTube first, and then after it's onto YouTube, then I can erase this video and do the next one. So anyways, I'll put this one up tonight, but I don't know if I'll do another. I think I won't. I'll look, see how long this video is and judge by that. But next up will be Criterions from the Towers. I think there's quite a bit of them, if I'm not mistaken. Well, there's a fair amount. There's a moderate amount. I don't know. We'll get through it. And then after that, do the rest in the bookcase, do the rest of the stuff in the Towers, and then we'll go to the boxes. We'll go through all the boxes. There's 4 boxes that I have of DVDs and Blu-rays, and then that finishes it. And at that stage, we could, maybe I'll read some of my poetry, because I've written lots of poetry over many years. Literally over a span of maybe 27 years. Not all the time did I write. I wrote sometimes every day for a few months, and then I wouldn't write for every day for a few months. But mostly I wrote poetry, and I might share that. And I also have my GarageBand stuff that's you can see on my channel. Some hits would be appreciated on that. I know I'm plugging all the time, but I'm just trying to plug my stuff. I did a short treatment that I wrote of a film I'd like to perhaps make at a certain point, and I did a storyboard of it with Google Photos. I did put sound effects and music with it, and put voiceover narration to illustrate how it would be shown, how it would be shot. And I did a short film project for my digital filmmaking class. We chose a dog to talk, so I chose a dog to sing, and I took some footage of dogs, and I dubbed in the song "Dirty Dog" by ZZ Top. And if you've seen all these videos of my collection, DVD and Blu-ray collection, and you're wondering where are the directors like Buñuel, Hitchcock, Kurosawa, Jean-Pierre Melville, there's a few others I'm trying to think of. Maybe there's a few others. But if you're looking for those movies and you can't seem to find them, those directors, just keep going further down my list of films, and you'll see, not films, further list down the list of my videos, and you'll see them closer to where I started off on YouTube. And also, I have some of my poetry that I've read on YouTube, some of it with images and some of it just me talking while the video is going. So at any rate, that's the video. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate all the hits I'm getting, and I'll see you soon, and thanks for watching. Okay, bye.